so many joint operations of them. I would wager that we probably have more in Canada than in any other country.
Okay, so
that wouldn't be true. We don't have very many, we don't have any large permanently manned bases in Canada at all.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any.
Maybe personnel there for different things, like we have an embassy, whatever, but let's not, like...
I feel like I think NORAD's in Colorado, but like, there's so much cooperation between the two countries. I think we cooperate with them more than any other districts.
Right, but an actual military base on Canadian soil, is there one?
This is rebuttable, but I don't think there are any, actually.
I didn't think so.
There's a North Bay in Ontario where the U.S. Air Force detachment to is integrated into Canadian operations and to an agreement. And there are active duty U.S. personnel that are deployed in Canada as cooperative defense arrangements, but there's not we don't have American bases there.
Yeah, I know they use Canadian bases a lot, but
Iran is the most surrounded by U.S. military bases.
There are 20 to 29 bases within 300 miles of Poland.
ChatGPT says Iran is the most heavily surrounded by U.S. military bases. And then it's Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Oman.
I mean, I think you gotta define what surrounded is.
Well, I just put in most heavily surrounded.
Yeah.
While the U.S. has no military base inside Iran, it maintains a tight ring of military installations in nearly every country that borders or is near Iran.
I mean, we have military bases in almost every country on Earth.
That's not the question that was asked, though. This one is the most heavily surrounded.
Maybe ask ChatGPT what it means by heavily surrounded. Define the criteria.
Listen, we have hundreds of military bases around the world. Hundreds.
And with thousands, actually.
I don't know if we're in the thousands.
I mean...
Last I saw it was not thousands yet, but maybe that's changed.
Don't really, when you define a base, like in Israel, we really don't have a base. What do we have...
There's bases in Israel.
A U.S. base? Where?
Oh, U.S. bases.
Yes, U.S. I'm saying there's no U.S. base in Israel.
I think the U.S. just gets involved in a lot of things.
Yeah, but there's not an actual, not like what you have in Qatar or Turkey.
Northeastern Syria, Iraq, etc.
Yeah, it's actually very
It is
interesting.
there, and I've never seen it, but maybe you guys can tell me where you think it is.
The U.S. maintains 750 and 800 overseas bases spread across 70 to 80 countries.
I think America.
Okay, so the U.S. has Site 512, which is in the Negev, which is a classified U.S. radar facility 20 miles from Gaza, monitors the skies for attacks, primarily used for threats from Iran. It has an AN-TPY-2 expand radar integrated with Israeli systems for early warning against ballistic missiles.
That's
basically, yeah.
Are there boots on the ground there? That's interesting.
I mean, the Americans have to operate that. I think that's part of the deal.
With the Patriot, when the Patriot batteries were there were U.S. boots on the ground then. Do you remember when they brought in the Patriots?
There's Masha Bean Air Base in the Negev, which is a base within a base. I guess it's a section of an Israeli base that is American. It's located within the IDF's Air Defense School. It houses dozens of U.S. Air Force personnel and supports missile defense systems. So, also missile defense. Nevatim Air Base.
Been there. You've been there? Nevatim?
Probably.
It's like a big one.
God,
I gotta tell you, the pilots there, whoa. Sorry. Just had to have that moment.
It's so interesting that there's not another country that even comes close to having as many bases globally, like at all. Like nobody even comes close.
Bliss, we are double the amount of bases since the Cold War.
It's fucking insane, actually. Now that I look
So
at
what we
This is-
hear
Would we
is
send
there are
them Finland?
750 to 800 military bases overseas. There are 128 major or permanent installations.
I mean, so the US is rolling zones
Yes.
of power.
UK.
Second, UK?
Yes, or Russia. Russia has about 18, but they lie, so can we trust them? I don't know. So it's either Russia or the UK. Somebody would have to look that up.
And the French, they've got the fucking Foreign Legion. Good for them.
What's interesting to me is like having bilateral defense bases between Canada and the United States. Because somebody was bringing up NORAD before. NORAD is a really interesting place, but I would argue that we probably have larger missile defense that's not public, like at Schriever Space Base, which was once Schriever Air Force Base, because we have a bilateral contract at NORAD with Canada. So I don't think we keep all of our best shit.
We'll catch Santa Claus one of these days. That's the most important
They
thing.
catch him every year. What are you talking about? They have the whole
They track him. They
radar.
never captured him, though. He keeps fulfilling his mission. They'll shoot
Do
him
you
down.
guys know the country with the most U.S. military bases?
Let us guess, don't say it.
Us.
With the most,
Yes.
Most bases. Don't say it.
should be Poland.
Oh, Japan.
Maybe Germany?
Japan.
Japan. I thought you meant like, I was like, we have the most.
120.
Yeah, Japan. My sister was in Fusa for 4.5 years and learned quite a bit about the amount of military there was.
Still have Okinawa, I think.
Went to see the one in Okinawa.
The second is Germany.
APAC had a group that went there, and we went on I guess it's a destroyer. I mean, it's a really interesting base. Because there is a section of it where the Japanese have their fleet, but it's a small part of it. But they keep their boats there too.
Now,
I mean, the
I'm
United
curious
States
where
has
you
like
run
a
it.
dozen different divisions of all over the world, like CENTCOM in the Middle East.
I have a family member who is now I know, Matt, you probably understand all the ranks. Major general, not major, lieutenant. No, you're gonna do that. It's above. Wait, I'll have to look at the rank. He's high out, and he was stationed for a while. This is a very cool one in Pisa. They have a base, army. That's not a bad place to be. In Italy, we used to have a lot of bases there.
My grandfather during the Korean War was stationed in Naples, and he was the head naval chaplain of the Mediterranean.
Nice.
And during my grandfather's funeral, a rabbi said it was because of your grandfather that the Koreans never reached Italy.
And that's like not bad if that's your army time to be in
He's a
Italy.
commander.
We're gonna have to look at what this rank is. You just got.
Now, interestingly, Iran's only like official bases, like not through proxies, but they're actual people. There were 10 in Syria; they're all gone, and then there's 2 in Iraq, which may or may not still be there.
I mean, those were their proxies, basically.
Yeah, so basically, in addition to losing, all of their proxies, they also lost the vast majority of their, basically 90% of their forward bases.
Like this is basically a siege. Like it's just like pushing in.
Jeff, can you do me a favor? Can you check the degenerates? I just sent a picture of a message from I-12 or I-24, the Israeli channel. They made a statement, let's confirm it. if it's true on the American side? Because
Hey, Matt,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel. He became a Lieutenant Colonel.
Alright.
That's
Yeah.
moving up.
I mean, that's,
That's,
I mean, it's still just quoting an American official, but I mean, that's as reputable as, that's pretty reputable.
that's all right, they see it again.
did you see it, Jeff? Sorry, I was at a phone call. This is big news. If it's true.
Lieutenant Colonel is 05. I think that corresponds with Commander in the Navy, I think.
So that's good. That's high up.
Yeah.
He's like a conservative also, by the way.
Oh, cool. Yeah, corresponds with Commander in the Navy. 05.
Sang in the West Point choir and is still pretty observant.
Anything? This is just cool if it's true. Pretty excited.
I heard Iran was threatening our Channel 12 and Channel 14.
Yeah, I saw
They
that.
would be the first to threaten Channel 12, though.
Could we just get them to take out the view? That would really be helpful.
This is terrible, but I was thinking, like, when they said that they picked up Bigfoot yesterday, I was thinking, yeah, no one's going to notice the difference. I'm allowed to make that joke because my great-great-great-grandfather found it in Bigfoot.
I heard it's not a real
It
place.
really exists.
Yeah, I heard it's not real. It's not real.
Can you say this in Bivrit, please?
פתח תקווה לא אמת.
זה לא אמת?
זה מין. כמו עיר בגרמניה שלא קיים.
There's lots of you.
מה?
Matt, you gotta work on your Hebrew, bro.
Trying to keep it simple.
Yeah, but emet is the wrong word. It's amiti. It's amiti.
Trying to keep it the streets. I find when I use proper grammar, it confuses Israelis.
Hello?
Oh,
Okay, I just heard static and I'm like, Irina, I didn't see you come in. Hi, Captain. Hello, me. Hello. I haven't seen you. Hi.
I got my ball joint replaced and I have AC again. I'm so happy.
Nice, because he's probably heading your way. It's hot here, Captain.
Oh, it's already 82 here today. It was hot all last week, huh?
We got
I was melting.
the it's 90 it's 90 right now, but next, let's see.
We got a couple nights. We had one 90-degree day last week, especially down in county. like down in town in the city, it gets a lot hotter than what it says the temperature is, because of that temperature bubble that's in the city.
So it always happens this way. The College World Series comes to town and it heats up. So we start by the weekend it'll be in the triple digits. They will be cooking down there. Matt, he's not in here. I can't believe Matt Root has never been to the College World Series as much as he loves baseball. He would love.
All this cold air coming out of my dash is so nice.
Good for you.
It's got to replace some kind of module or something that controls the airspeed itself. That's the only thing that's going to do. But I mean, it's full speed gets spitting out cold air, so I don't care.
Nice.
It's so much quieter with that wheel bearing in place. It's so nice. It's been a little wobble at like 70, 80 miles per hour though. I think I might have to change my control on it. Not because I was the spin goes power rod and then that other ball of stemming because I replaced. But it could be the CD axles too. I know I need to change my struts, but that could be part of the problem. But it's not bad yet. Well, not bad yet, should I say. They're home, but they're not bad yet.
What kind of car is it?
So what happens when you have a 2011 with 137,000 miles on it? You're gonna start replacing parts.
What brand?
Ford. The 2011 Ford Escape.
Yeah.
XLT 2.5 liter. Front-wheel drive. Seriously.
Mr. Kevin, hope everything is good with you, sir. We were worried about you. I was actually asking what the fuck happened to you.
It's true. He did ask about you.
Actually, the internet service very unstable, and usually I drop out of the room. So you can check everything on CNN, everything. on other TVs, you can see everything. So actually, I had a ticket to Dubai on coming Wednesday, but all of them canceled. And then from Dubai to Washington, all of them canceled.
Yeah, there's no the runways are down. They took out around the airport.
Yeah, the airport is out of service now, as I heard. So it's bad luck.
Did you get to Kurdistan?
Actually, I had a ticket on this June 18th from Tehran to Dubai, and then my God.
Did you get yourself to Kurdistan? Could you cross the border to Kurdistan?
Anyway, we are just seeing the fighter jets bombardment on Tehran, IRGC sites, and military sites, missile sites. We can hear and see everything because my home is located on top of the hill. Hill or hell? Top of the hill. Hill, yeah. So I can see everything, I can hear everything, but fortunately, it is too far from us. Because my residential area is totally far away from all of these things. Missile sites, military sites, intelligence sites, everything. We are thanks, but we are still alive. We're still alive. Actually, I'm not scared. Thank you. I'm not scared. I know everything is spot bombing. Spot. Actually, targets are already decided which target they have to attack, and this is a spot targeting. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not worried about
That's
anything.
so great to
But
hear.
actually, I'm worried about the. Yeah. Actually, my main concern is losing power and tap water, because if the power generators, power plants, and water reservoirs actually, then they will face a big problem. Otherwise, there is no problem up to now. And also, the gas is hard to find, and they rushed. It is ration. Special for heating. So that's a great news. Yeah, it's good. Somehow I can say I enjoy it. Everybody enjoy it. Not everybody, but many are enjoying.
Wow.
So how are the Iranian people themselves towards this thing? They're happy about this? Majority.
Yeah, actually, because majority is happy because of deleting those people or those persons who were hated by people. Hate, people hate some of the IRGC commanders and second level actually commanders, and they are being deleted. And so people are very happy from that. Just the main question is one why the first person, Mullah, the first person, he was not hit at the first time. This is the main question. Why they actually decided not to hit him, to attack him at the first bombardment.
I heard there's a jail that people are breaking out of right now because all the guards left. The jail is called, I'll tell you what the jail is called.
Jails? What do you mean jails? Because your voice is coming in and out. Internet bandwidth is not good.
Keegan's prison.
Ah, jail, yeah, jail.
Prison, they're hitting prisons.
Prison, yeah. Yeah, I see jail.
It says people are escaping. On another note, hopefully this is going to be done soon.
Rashi, actually, I heard you coming in and out.
Kevin, that's you. It's you. We can't hear you too well. You're
Yeah, it's me. It's from here because they blocked many things. So we have to connect even WhatsApp, which already restrictions removed, even they put restrictions again. So without VPN, you cannot work with WhatsApp. So VPN capacity is.
You should try low audio
So everybody
on Clubhouse.
Actually, they. Yeah. Clubhouse.
Change your Clubhouse setting.
It's a. Clubhouse actually is one of those applications who are restricted heavily from using Kitover.
No, that's fine, but because you have a problem with your band, then you should select low audio quality at the top.
Oh, you're right.
So we can hear you better.
Let me change it now. Yeah. If I find it soon, let me change it now. Audio quality. Okay, give me some time.
No problem.
Then, you're right. It was a good idea.
It's under the settings on the top right with the ellipsis, the three dots.
Yeah. It is on. I put it on low.
Yeah, now we can
I
hear
hope
you.
it would get me better. Yeah. That's a good idea, actually. Anyway.
Glad to hear you're safe.
Thank you very much. No, this is it. Actually, Iranian people now understand what the Israeli people actually suffer from sirens every night, go to shelters, and
Oh, yeah.
They now understand, yeah. Now they understand that how they are suffering from every night they have to wake up, go to shelters. Now they actually they know. They know.
Do you think that they're going to overtake the regime?
It seems so. It seems so. Everybody is waiting for that. It seems so. Nobody knows. Actually, in these cases, nobody can. But as far as I know, the scenario which is President Netanyahu is doing is the copy of Hezbollah removing Hassan Nasrallah. First of all, removing all part of the military sections and commanders, and then the head. This is the same scenario, successful scenario actually. It seems that it is done a copy of removing Hezbollah from the power.
Very strategic.
Anyway, thank you all. Thank you, my friends. I tried so many times. To contact you, but actually, also on the other side, I have the many things to do, fill up the gas and preparation.
Yes, of course.
And
You have to stay safe.
that and
You're still cutting out, unfortunately.
yeah, and we are careful. I have a plan in worst case because we are taking care of my mom and my dad. They are very old, and we made a plan. I made on it to make a plan. In worst case, what we have to do. So anyway, thank you for your kind and thinking of me. Happy to see you again all.
Stay safe. Thank you for updating.
Rina, everybody, you up, everybody which I know, Zach, you know me, everybody. Thank you very much for
Stay safe, brother.
Thank you, Rafi. Thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to stay safe. I want to open my mic. It's already open.
I should have just.
So actually,
Go on.
go on.
I was just gonna say I should have just put my brother on to talk to you yesterday. Freaking idiot that clearly has friends that support the regime and is sympathizing with Iran right now. With the regime.
I have a better suggestion. Just send him and his friends to Gaza.
It is a very
Neighborhood.
but this is it, yeah. It is more than 40 years. The regime says Israel should be baked out of the map. We have to destroy and we have to, they just rhetoric. Actually, not rhetoric. They made some achievements. It shows that Israelis believe when the Iranian official says we have to destroy Israel.
They believe them.
Israel, in United Nations says we believe these rhetorics. We have to be prepared. So the first and foremost item for the regime is to finding those people who set up drones and active them.
You're cutting
Inside
out.
the country. This is
You're cutting out, Kevin. You're going in and out. Yeah, they're having a hard time with internet there. That's what.
Yeah, their internet's so bad, they're almost like Canada. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't say it is as bad, it's almost as bad.
Almost as bad as Canada.
It's better than, probably more affordable.
hello Jeff,
Yeah.
good morning. Actually, it was disconnected. I couldn't hear you. So, how are you? Are you okay?
Much better hearing you, my friend. We've been worried about you. I think his internet is worse than mine, though.
You know, yours is good, Jeff. It says good. No, he's going in and out. But he says he's good. He was about to get out of Iran.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but his tickets were like for a few days before all this shit happened. He already had tickets.
Yeah, actually, I already got my ticket for June 18 to go out, but suddenly everything is stopped. It's called bad luck, piercing to bad luck. Actually, some hierarchies for some people inside my home at the hill, on the hill, actually searching for those guys who were launching drones. Some people launch several drones from this part. So they are heavily searching and controlling this area by drones and controlling this area by drones and controlling this area. Yeah, and I gotta go.
Have you ever pointed to where the yarmulke and that you're a Jew?
No.
Armenian, right?
And as a matter of fact, you can thank an Armenian woman for not putting Malcolm X in jail. Because his girlfriend that he went around Boston robbing stores, she was Armenian. And when they said, hey, just tell us he forced you to do it, and you'll go free, and we'll put him in jail for life. She said, no, I did the crime, I did the time. So thank a white Armenian girl from Malcolm.
Literally a Caucasian.
So we thank Armenians and ethnically cleansed black people out of North Hollywood. Should we thank them too?
They ethnically cleansed?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, they did. Yes,
Well,
they did. Yes.
I'll tell you what. You know what? You know the Tuskegee experiments?
Thank a Republican, Richard Nixon, for ending those.
Actually, we thank the Republicans that created the Lily White Party.
Where's the talk when you need
By
them?
the way, are you wearing a cotton shirt or cotton
So
coat?
hold on, Alan, so we thank the Republican Party that created the Lily White Party and worked against our advancement and pushed for freedom. Oh, they didn't do that. The Lily White Party and the Republican Party didn't do
I
that?
gotta go.
Yeah, okay.
Did you just hear that though? Somebody said, "Where's a Turk when you need him?" What if someone said, "Where's a Klansman when you need him?" You see what I'm saying? Y'all dish this shit out, but y'all can't fucking take it, man. This is crazy.
Oh, sick, dude.
Man,
Michael would lose his mind if we said that.
Where's a black baby mama when you need one?
Well,
Wait a
Abraham,
second, wait a
the
second.
same place when your white
Let me
trash.
ask you a question. Hey, hold on, babe. Let me ask a question to him. And one at a time, please. Does the room think that the world has become hypersensitive to words? Right? Because words have meaning, but has the world become so hypersensitive we can't use words? And I'm not talking about the N-word. Obviously, the N-word, that's definitely off the table. But let me go to Pepe, and then I want to get Carlos back in the conversation in United. Pepe, what do you...
Well, a bunch of things. I heard Abraham, he said, he made this claim that somehow because we are targeting the demographic, illegal immigrants, that's going to alienate us with Hispanic people. Hispanic men, over 55% voted for Donald Trump. While he was saying he was going to have the largest deportation order, you have to understand that, first of all, a lot of the Hispanic Americans, majority Mexican American, do not look at themselves as the same as the immigrants. In fact, in real life, they see themselves as different. And there's a little bit of antagonism that goes on between them. They look at what Mexican Americans as not real Mexicans. You don't speak Spanish. You've never been to Mexico. And they also, there's a lot, I don't need to go into it. But with that being said, yes, white people are becoming a minority. Who's also becoming a minority is foundational Black Americans. The only reason African or blacks are going to be 13 point whatever percentage in the future is because even though you guys have below birth rates, below replacement level birth rates, your population is going to still relatively remain even percentage wise because of African and Caribbean immigrants. Now, what I see, and this is the funny part, and I think a lot of Black people are kind of realizing it now, is that as somebody who grew up around Mexican Americans and even Mexicans, there's no brown or black coalition. They will side with white people. They want to live with us. Our daughters can marry each other, but we'll never let them marry one of your sons. Well, there's a few exceptions, but for the most part, we don't want to live around Black people either side. I mean, Mexicans or whites. Look at how they operate in real life. Don't look at what they say. Look at what they do. They are very racist towards Black people. Somehow you guys think it's going to work out well for you. I don't see it happening. And we don't have the same problem with African immigrants that we have with white immigrants. African Americans.
All right, Pepe, hold on.
So I don't see this working out for you guys.
All right, Pepe, hold on. Let's go to United. I guess she wants to push back. How you doing, United?
Hi, how are you guys? I hope everyone's else doing well, and the females and the gentlemen and the good people of the earth. Please, thank you so much. I understand where you're coming from, 100%. Literally. Racism, colorism, it's all like intertwined, culture, everything else. On some serious concept, it's okay for this deportation to happen now, because why? Iran and Israel Israel's like literally like bombing each other as we speak right now, right? And as we speak here, the portion of the fucking goddamn Mexican going back, they coming back, and oh shit, are we recorded?
Yeah.
So no, sincerely, we have to just work as people. United Nations cannot be this close. Not.
What did you say?
No.
United, land your plane. So by the way, there's a number of weeks.
I wanted
Hold on, United.
Remember that United Airlines is not landing at all.
Hold on a second. Over 1 million people self-reported and deported themselves back to their countries. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to live around poor blacks, but I don't want to live around poor whites either. So, I don't know what Pepe's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, but Pepe doesn't know this. I never said, we know how Hispanics feel. That's why when you look at the protest in Los Angeles, you don't see black people, black Americans largely represented. And let me just say this, black Americans, in terms of our birth rate, has not fallen below replacement rate. We still are at 2.1, so we're still above replacement. We will fall below replacement by 2050. And so we're fully aware that we're educating more of our people on this issue and this reality. And it is said that if this continues, that the Caribbean population will certainly overtake us in terms of birth rate of population by 2050. So by 2060, actually it's 2060, according to Pew Research. So we're fully aware of that. But once again, Pepe, we're not even talking about people that will join black people on our side. I'm simply saying that if your fantasy, you and Alan's fantasy of a race war, it would start as a race war, but then it would evolve into a civil war in this country, because every radical organization, every radical institution that's been waiting for the day would certainly take advantage of it. So this is why a lot of these radical institutions and organizations are so reliant on trying to get black people and activate black people to come out and protest, to come out and fight and stand next to them, because they understand the implications of the police state, the militarized police state, and they're hoping to induce a race war so that they can then begin the process of inducing a civil war. And again, with the state attacking Hispanics, as you've seen in Los Angeles, the radical organization, you're not here in LA, but in Southern California and California as a whole, because remember, 48% of LA County is Hispanic. There are radical left-wing organizations that have at this point well over 1 million Hispanics that are part of their institution or organizations that in a civil war would pop off in this country, and a race war would certainly piggyback off of black people to set it off in this country. So understand that it's not about them aligning themselves with us because they love us, that people would piggyback off of something like that to virtue signal to set it off in this country.
By the way, I just posted the link. It's at 1.58. It's literally, I think it's within 0.1% of what the white replacement rate is. You guys are literally dying off at the same rate
And it's
that
not
we are here in the
1.5.
United States.
Yeah,
Okay, post the source.
Okay, yes. Yes, a birth rate of 2.1 per woman is generally considered low and is below the replacement
Yeah,
level.
we're not below replacement rate. We're at 2.1.
2.1 is low because you're not taking into consideration.
It's not below replacement.
It doesn't matter. Post a link that shows it's not 1.58. You're not going to find it.
It is.
You guys have been below replacement rates for a while.
No. You made the assertion that our birth rate, you have no evidence to show that our birth rate is 1.5.
I just posted a fucking link.
UN report says white birth rates are plummeting within the African American community.
And the
Well, I don't know. Where's the link? I don't see the link in the chat. Where's the link?
People are willing to kill themselves way more than white people will ever kill them.
Pepe, you did not put a link in the chat. Where's it at?
Yes, I did. Just scroll up. Just barely. You barely have to scroll up.
Black people, it sounds like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but my foundation of Black Americans, like, these numbers are startling.
Yeah, it's called.
I thought it was the white birth rate.
It's called self-replacement fertility.
Listen, black folks, y'all better get to fucking. You better tell your offspring when they come of age, get to fucking, so we have
Black people love to have sex. Black people love to have sex, but black women love to kill their children more. That's
well, I'm not gonna argue with that point.
Can't jump in here.
I think this conversation is pretty spectacular and not in a good.
Can I jump in?
Who's that, Ryan?
Actually, we have a 1.62 birth rate, because I know it's added back and forth, so we're slightly edging you guys out in replacement levels. But overall, we're both dying. We're both a dying population in the U.S.
Hold on a second. Can I just make a note? Just a step back for 2 seconds and breathe. We are literally on a call in the middle of our day in 2025 with all this stuff in the world on fire, like JB Sting said the other day. And a bunch of intelligent people with 100 plus, several hundred, whatever people in their audience are watching white supremacists, nationalists, whatever ideology folk, and other people argue about the replacement rate for different races over the next several years in the context of who's going to be the mightiest in the race war between cultures in the United States.
Oh, no, that's not what I was saying. I was saying black people should stop killing their babies.
That was Abraham.
Black people should stop killing themselves.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I'm actually speaking pro for black people.
I'm not going to say that everyone is having, but that was the premise of the reason that we got into this conversation, because of Alan saying who would win the race war, and then we started talking about numbers and so forth and so on. So I'm just saying it's just so strange and weird that we're even strategizing on who's going to win the race of having more people, right? It's like not trying to be funny, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, but hold on, but it's important because the data that Pepe put in does not show that the black birth rate is at 1.5. He's wrong. I think he's looking at 1.5 or 1.6 million. I'm talking about.
It says the fucking number.
I'm looking at it. It does not say that the birth rate of black Americans is at 1.5. That is well below replacement rate. You don't even come back from that. So you're lying. There's nothing that shows it. It shows that the birth rate is declining and is record low.
But hold on a second. Hey, here's what I don't understand, right? You've been, to me, you're smart, very intelligent. You push back on some points. But for us, let's say black culture, right? I hear people all the time, that's a part of the xenophobia that's fueling a lot of the sentiment against Mexicans, for whatever it's worth, right? And I have no problem with my black nor brown people, right? So, or white people for that matter. My question to you is, what does it reflect or represent for you to have such a fierce debate with a racist about whether it's 1.5 or 1.6? What does that mean to you?
Well, okay, it's just data. I just don't like when people push false narratives. Like we're above replacement rate. If you actually add Africans and Caribbeans in, we shoot up to roughly around 2.2 in terms of our birth rate. We go to 2.2. But if you extrapolate them, which is about 25% of the overall population, it drops to 2.1. So we're still above replacement rate.
Post the link that shows that. You can't do it.
1.9 replacement is below replacement. So once you hit 1.9, you typically don't come back from.
It's almost like you're arguing with the tiki torches in Virginia, right? Where you would not replace us. What I'm saying, the whole concept of people being replaced is fueling a lot of sentiment. My question to you still, before you get back into it with the Keegans and the Als and the Pepes, what does that matter to us on the app that don't think like Keegan?
Well, I will say this. We should be concerned about our population decline, and we should want to have replacement rates and continue to have replacement rates, because once you fall below replacement, that can mean that's big trouble for your population. That means you're going to continue to decline even further, and that is very dangerous. So I don't want that to happen to our people. I want us to remain above replacement rates. I want to see our culture perpetuated, our history, our heritage perpetuated, our families perpetuated. That's very important to me.
Hey, so, let me ask you a question. Hold on, Pepe. I'll come right back to it, folks. And I'm only asking this question because the rhetoric I've heard in this room all day. What community do you think is more anti-black, the white community or the Latino community, Abraham?
Well, obviously white America, because white America has the power to institutionalize their white supremacy and harm against us. However, we have seen when Hispanics gain that power, they get a battery
battery pack, a white supremacist battery pack put in them, and they act on that, right? They act on that against us, which has harmed us. We see California as an example of that. So we understand that anti-blackness exists in all communities in the United States. We see it amongst Southeast Asians. We see it amongst Hispanics. We see it amongst the Chinese, Koreans, right? So we know that people hate us. That doesn't make us fearful. That actually makes us stronger, because we understand that there's something and there's a reason that they see us as a threat. It has nothing to do with our behavior, because they've always seen us as a threat.
Wait, I need some clarity here real quick before I give Pepe a chance to push back. Dean, you have your hand raised. I tried to bring you up a few times, my friend. And I just want to get some clarity. So it's the white man's fault that certain segments of the Latino community are anti-black.
Well, we know.
We taught them. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, yeah, in a lot of ways, yes, because white supremacy incentivizes anti-blackness. We can look at places like, I'll give you an example, Nigeria, right? You have Liberians and you have Asians that come that are anti-black. When you listen to a lot of their anti-black tropes and how they feel about Africans or Nigerians, it's always usually predicated on rhetoric that comes out of Europe, or the notion of race science that came out of white supremacy. So yes, there's always been prejudice, right? There's always been a bias towards people. But when it comes to the actual idea of black people being racially inferior, often when you hear other races engage in race science, it's predicated off what they learn from European societies or from white societies in any particular place on planet Earth.
Thank you, Dave. So, hold on, Rich.
That's a fact.
Gentlemen, please. I promised Pepe to be next, and I need to do a room reset. Then I'll go to Keegan, then Rich. Pepe, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I will say this. This is, I mean, listening to him in his he's already been called out because he has one statistic totally fucking wrong, but whatever. When it comes to Mexico, all right.
You're wrong.
Shut up. Now, when it comes to Mexico,
he didn't interrupt you. Please show him the same respect. Get that.
Now, when it comes to, well, I'll just narrow it down to Mexico, but we can look at the rest of Latin America, okay? No, they've always been racist. They are racist. In fact, it's also, I guess, more akin to colorism as well. So not only do they think the Indians, they're the simple little short people that can't live in modern society. That's how Mexicans and Central Americans and others look at them. When it comes to black people, they're bottom of the barrel. But who are their movie stars? Who are their models? Who are the people that are in the upper crust of society all throughout Latin America? It's the whiter looking group. Now, to me, it's just so funny to hear people think that they learned their anti-blackness from white Americans. I mean, every single one of those fucking countries in Latin America had slaves. I mean, it's so naive and silly. The world doesn't revolve around America.
Yeah, I don't think claim that they learned racism from white America.
Hold on. Not according to Americans, Pepe. We think we're the center of the universe.
Yeah, but Mexico,
hold on.
Mexicans their world revolves around Mexico. That's how every group of people is.
No. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and then I'm going to get other speakers involved. We got Keegan, Michael, then Full.
Yeah, I never made that claim that it was white Americans. Once again, people are listening to respond and not listening to understand. What I said was that no matter where you go on planet Earth, when you look at anti-blackness, it's typically powered by the rhetoric of race science that came out of Europe and it's made its way around the world. So when you talk about colorism or race science in Latin America, it's because Europeans brought race science into Europe and they incentivize white supremacy, right? So in Brazil and other countries, they brought Europeans in and they told the black populations, if you don't want to suffer the calamities of race, the best thing that you can do is whiten up your lineage. So they have something called, like in Spanish, la raza or whatever it's called, which was like improving the race. And improving the race is whitening your descendants so that they don't fall the racism and white supremacy that black people befall.
Okay,
so yes, that's
all right,
a clear example of that.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go to Keegan, Michael, and then for Luke. Keegan.
Oh, that's Keegan.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was, I hear about race science, right? I hear that white people, and Asians and Latinos, they all have this racist race science. I did not know anything about race science until I got to Clubhouse, and I heard many, many black people say, "You are a white man who you didn't evolve like the black man from Native. You came from the Caucasus Mountains, you are Neanderthals and cavemen, and that's why you act completely different. You don't have melanin in your skin like we do. Our melanin's our power, and that's how we're compassionate human beings, right?" All I hear is all these crazy theories, race science, like Abraham's been saying. This is what I hear. That's what I hear all the time. It's just about how white people are actually devils. That we didn't evolve like black people. We're completely different. And then we are. But that's called race science. And the idea that then white people said, okay, if we're going to do race science, let's study IQs. Well, who conducts what an IQ actually is? That's a social contract that's made up by white supremacy to make black people dumber. Okay, all right, you win. What do you want us to do here? Because when a white supremacist says black people are inferior to us because of this, and this, based off of getting a
Yeah, if I could correct the the branches of science that study Neanderthal DNA within Europeans is evolutionary biology, anthropology, and archaeogenetics. So that's not race science. That's really.
Wait a second, guys. Nye, CO, and Sid are going to be running the room for a few minutes. So if you call me, I'm not going to be able to answer.
Oh, can I go next, JB?
You got you, JB.
Because Rich said, JB said Keegan and Rich.
Rich, just go. Because I'm not going to shut up until he goes.
No, I was just going to correct something. With the Varna ancient Vedic framework categorized society in 4 main classes. I mean, this is just something that existed before colonizers showed up in India. Also in East Asia and China and stuff. Anybody that was darker skinned was considered lower skilled, lower class workers because they would get more dark from working in the rice paddies and rice terraces. Also, MJ, what you said is factually inaccurate because, no, it's not factually inaccurate. I mean, it's like your narrative is, 2021 Princeton, what's his name? Lou Cho from Princeton University in 2021 showed that there's Neanderthal DNA in all humans on Earth, not just whites. So.
Well, we know that it's predominant. It's more predominant within your.
Yeah, you still got it in your DNA, bro.
Populations. Sure, I mean, this is not a purity thing, but the person.
Well, the original argument 15 years ago was only Caucasians.
Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to speak. So, okay, I didn't interrupt you. The previous person said this was a part of race science, the discussion of Neanderthal DNA within Europeans. And I had to clarify that it's not race science. I had to give them the actual branches of science, which this is actually studied. And there is a stronger prevalence of Neanderthal DNA within Europeans, and I don't think that's arguable.
It's like 1.2 to 1.6%. So it's 1.2 amongst Caucasian, or 1.6 amongst Caucasians, and 1.2 amongst the rest of the world. So
actually,
0.4%, Princeton University, 2021.
It's up to 2% for Europeans, up to 3%.
It's 1.6 and 1.2.
No, it's 2% for Europeans.
It's 4% different.
No, it isn't. It's literally
just type in Neanderthals, Princeton University, 2021.
Well, some of us have our own individuals. It's not even important. Why is that even important?
Well, we're all Neanderthals. I agree.
Don't forget, guys, the Neanderthal came out of Africa.
Oh, the Neanderthal didn't come out of Africa.
And you guys have 19%. And you have 19% of, so you guys are also mixed with 19% with an archaic hominid, up to 19% sub-Saharan Africa, and this mixture ended up occurring after the Great Migration out of Africa. So you guys are also like mixed with a less evolved
bonobos.
Non-anatomically modern human. Yes, archaic human. So, I mean, this is just silly. We all evolved from something, so it's pointless.
But prior to 2021, you could have claimed that all white people and Asians in Europe and Asia were the only ones with Neanderthal DNA. So, modern genomics actually shows that it's all people.
I think I was the next. Jimmy said. Can I just chime in on the statistics when the birth rates? I mean, I don't know if everybody here knows who Nipsey Hussle was, but for all of you, he's American. But for me, I met about 20 years ago. His father's Eritrean. I was in Eritrea with him. But for all of you, he's an American. So just to make sure that just because if you're black in America, that doesn't mean that you have 100% African American heritage. You can have parents that are from Africa, other parts. And the African population is growing. In a couple of decades, there'll be 4 billion people in Africa. Europe isn't growing. So for what you said, Pepe, by statistics, if it's a boxing match, the guy standing is the guy winning. I'm not all for this race war, white, black, whatever, Hispanics. But statistically, the black man is the first guy here. He's going to be the last guy standing. It's just statistics.
What do you mean last standing? What are you talking about? And how does that play into statistics? I clearly missed something.
Statistics, when you're talking about birth rates, 2% here, 3% there, that doesn't matter if Africa is growing at the rate Africa is growing. If Africans send 200 million to America, Europe ain't sending nothing anymore. Because Argentina used to be like 50% black, but they killed all the black people. All the black guys were in the army. The rest of them fled to Argentina. So if Africa did what Europe did, then it will be all over today. But statistically, Europe is not producing white people anymore. And most of South America, Central America, have African blood in them. So just by the nature, black people are gonna be here. Asians and black people are gonna be the people standing in 100 years.
Not even Asians. Let me just say this: that Nipsey Hussle was half FBA. His mother was a Louisiana Creole. But by the 22nd century, 1 out of 3 humans on planet Earth will be African. There will be 3 billion Africans on the continent of Africa alone. The fastest growing population in the world is sub-Saharan Africa. Or I don't even use that word sub-Saharan because it's pseudo and anthropology doesn't use that term anymore. But in so-called sub-Saharan Africa, it's the fastest growing population. Not North Africa, not East Africa, sub-Saharan Africa.
How's it sub-Saharan? How's it pseudo? I mean, it just means it comes from. It means the people that come from south of the Saharan desert, which is true.
I don't want to go into it. It's pseudo, and anthropologists don't even use it anymore. They don't even use it anymore.
You know it used to be black, all black.
They built all the pyramids, of course.
Well, so that's not even a point. And so by 2050, so as an example, by 2050, the Asian population is going to decline, right? China's population, India's population is going to reach its peak and it's going to go on a steady decline. That's just a reality. And that's partly due to China's one-child rule that they did that really hurt them in terms of population and reaching that peak by 2050. So yes, by 2100, by the turn of the 22nd century, we will see that 1 out of 3 people on planet Earth will be African. So the African population will dominate the population on planet Earth. Not only that, by 2050, Africa will have what they the so-called sub-Saharan Africa will have the youngest working population on planet Earth, which is very interesting.
White people have to go to the continent of Africa to drill wells.
White people didn't do any of that. If anything, white people were the disease.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask you a question. At all these numbers, what percentage is mixed race? Because there's more mixed race people in the world now than ever before.
Yeah, mixed race people will continue to grow, but overwhelmingly, sir, JB is your name, sir, and all due respect, yes, 1 out of 3 people by the 22nd century will be African, and the sub-Saharan population will dominate the continent of Africa in terms of numbers, and they will spread. They will do through immigration. It will continue to spread throughout the world in Europe and all that. So that's likely where you'll start to see the population of biracials or mixed people grow in Europe and some in the so-called Americas, mostly in Europe though, and in some places in Asia. But the Asian, I'm just speaking specifically to the decline and the uptick. Asia's population will begin to decline by 2050, particularly China. And then the incline will happen in sub-Saharan Africa. And in terms of Europe,
Dude, you said 30 seconds. You've been doing 30 minutes. Oh, hold on, because I got other people on stage that haven't even spoken yet, bro. I promise I'll get back to you.
Quick question.
Now you want to say something?
Yeah, quick question, and I'm not even trying to be funny. Anybody have a theory on what percentage of the population, like what you said, Abe said 2030 or 2050? I think he said 2050. Anybody have a theory on what percentage of the population will be transhumanists? Because we are living in this, age of technology, the emergence of man and machine. What percentage of the population will be, half human, half Terminator? Y'all think it's gonna be the blacks and the Asians will be the last standing. I think
that was your thing, bro.
I can remember season 1, bro.
I mean, we don't have any data on that. We do know that transhumanists. Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, so I have a video clip on it. It's pretty long, but it goes in. I can put it in the chat. Basically, our scientists are saying that within 1,000 years, I know that's a long time, but within 1,000 years, half of the population will be integrated with some kind of robotics.
We are now. We have iPhones. They're part of our life. They're like our sixth finger, third hand. You guys can't put your phones down.
But he's talking about when the neural kicks in.
I know what he's talking about.
I already have a
shut up for a second, let somebody else talk. Yeah. So I want to say hello to MJ, because...
What's up,
MJ? Hold on one second. I got you, bro. I was wondering what took you so long to come to the stage, but whatever. I'm going to go to MJ, then I want to get Paul Luke involved. MJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when the neural link kicks in, we won't have to have appendages. We won't have to sit up here and type into the phone. We can just think thoughts, and things start to happen. We'll have our lenses in, be able to see things, make decisions. It'll be a pretty interesting time. I hope I live.
Thank you, MJ. Hold on. No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying I'm voting for the robots. Humans are too destructive. Not that the robots won't be, because I think those turn on the humans. But humans hate each other. They hate themselves. They're at war constantly with God, nature, biology. So either the rapture is going to take us out, or the AIs, the ex machinas. And I'm here for it. By the way, for the record, I identify as a Time Lord. Just call me Dr. Who. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Dr. Who.
And I put that link in the chat for you guys.
Hey, thank you. Can I go to Foluk? Because Foluk hasn't spoken. Am I saying your name right? Foluk? Foluk? He waits on stage for an hour and then leaves when I try to reach him. Hold on, Michael. I'm going to go to Mother, then Othello, then you. Michael, Mother, go ahead.
So, not really related to the transhumanist argument, but more of like the room title. So I actually think that this conversation is really interesting because I was in that room this morning, KB, where I think originated this, and I think what I was saying, I actually said this last week. People love to use on this app anyone that they don't agree with. They love to tag them as being a racist on this app, and it's actually like that behavior has spread like COVID on this app. Everyone does it. And it kind of devalues the term entirely when you actually, now I question people who are constantly calling other people racist. It's like, are all these people that you're labeling actually racist, right? It actually, I don't even believe it anymore.
Nicholas, did you see how many people were calling me racist? How crazy was that?
There was like 10 people in there, or I don't know, 10 isn't it, but I was reading the chat, right? But I was caught off guard with it, but it also points to a bigger problem on this app. Anyone who is somewhat conservative, anyone who has any viewpoint that is not agreeing with Democrats is a racist on this app, and that is a problem. And I said that actually in that room, in that same space, that people in that room have a problem with doing this about a week ago. And I got so much.
And JB, can I just address a joke tonight?
Hold on 1 second. No.
Just a joke.
Oh no. Hold your joke. I'm gonna go for Luke. For Luke a chance. For Luke. For Luke, are you there? Hello? You gotta unmute, honey. It's the bottom right. Yeah, Rich, tell your funny joke.
Nye, I just want to say this joke, and I know all the racist black people are going to get really mad, but I am the master.
I love you. We're friends now.
Look at all the black people. Did he just say he's the master?
I get what he said. Okay.
I'm the master.
All right, Master Data. We're gonna go.
It's Dr. Who.
Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on the Neanderthal thing, because a couple of miles from my village in the mountains of Eritrea, we have like 200,000-300,000 year old like tools, you know, like obsidian tools. And I mean, I remember when we mixed with that Neanderthal, that was a bad goddamn mistake. So the problem was when we mixed with that Neanderthal. That's just what I want to say.
Thank you very much.
Look at all the Hoovians in the chat.
Who cares? No pun intended. Othello, you want to chime in? Othello, you've been quiet for a whole 3 minutes.
JB, I don't know what your problem is, man. I don't speak over anybody. I just flash my mic when I want to talk. But no, I don't have much to say. I'm just enjoying the conversation. Thank you.
Let me tell you something. If I don't bust your chops, that means I don't like you. If I'm busting your chops, I like to respect you. I got you, kid.
Thank you.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? This is for Luke.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
thank God. Your phone works.
I have been struggling forever. You know, this is my first time here this afternoon. And I am super excited with everything I've been hearing. But there is one thing that somebody talked about at the time. You know, there's been so many things about that I actually wanted to talk about, but I'm probably not going to talk about them anymore because of time and other stuff. But the platform has been highly educative, and but you know what baffles me most, because I live in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, to be precise, but originally from Nigeria. And you know what baffles me most of the time is how, you know, before coming to this country, there's a way I perceive the black and white. Of course, I never know what is called racism. All we know over there is tribalism, you know. And even the origin of tribalism, I have no clue. I have no idea what was going on. We just discovered one tribe tried to oppress the other, you know, different things. And then one tribe, you know, but when I got to this country a couple of years ago, I now discovered, oh my goodness, what is going on in the world is even better than what I saw over there back home. And for the first time, so many things I discovered, especially during anyway, I don't want to go into stories and histories, but I appreciated everything I've heard this afternoon. It's highly educated, but what baffles me most of the time is the inability of the black people to even come together as one. And that bothers me all the time, that how can we get a situation? Thank God for internet, because internet, people can, you know, the world has become a global village. People from any part of the world can come together and, you know, do great things together, even without even living together.
What tribe are you from, Luke?
I'm Yoruba, but it doesn't matter. Coming over to this part of the world, I don't even look at me anymore. All I try to see is a black person, is a black woman, and that if other people like the Indians have discovered how closely packed together they are, you can hardly enter into their midst. It will take them to trust you so much before they can, you know, you can do anything with them. They do things within, even though they live far apart from India. But with black, especially Nigerians or Sub-Saharan African, like you call it, They are the most loose type of human beings I've seen. We're just loose all over the places. Trying to copy. Although I discovered, the way people behave is due to, a lot of the way we've been, we've been colonized mind. Our minds are being colonized. We don't believe in our things. We believe more in, in the whites. It's just a lot going on. But I don't want to talk about all that. But what bothers me most of the time is if others can stick together, what is stopping the Africans, all the black people, especially in America? I don't care where you come from, whether you're from Ethiopia, Eritrea, or Nigeria, or, it doesn't matter.
Oh, thank you.
Is it religion? Religion should split us because we have our own way of worship before they bring all these religions to divide. It's all about divide and rule.
Thank you.
So that people should be able to open their eyes, to see beyond religion.
Thank you very much. I just have a question for the room. If anybody, why hasn't she been called a coon for what she said? Because an American black said that they'd be called a coon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Miss Faluke, racism is just tribalism. That's all it.
She said, why can't black Americans do that? I guess get on code and love each other and get along because for that reason, Miss, black Americans, and not all, but we see the conversation in the rhetoric. For some odd reason, we have this distrust in our community. Yeah. We love each other. Exactly. Enough is enough. We need to re-educate ourselves. We've learned so many things.
Yeah, but JB did make a really good point. Now, if she was FBA, she'd be called like, a bedwin. She'd be called like, a traitor.
100%, most especially by black liberals. Mm-hmm. Listen, I get called a coon and a maggot and a trumpet all the time by black liberals on this app because I seemingly have conservative views. You find that a lot of black Americans, because they lean left, okay? If you don't think like them, talk like them, pray like them, eat like them, you know what I'm saying? I'm being a little exaggerating here, but they want you to have that, I shouldn't say worker bee. Share that same ideology that keeps them always blaming everyone for their problems. Blaming the white man, but blaming the black woman. It's all the same rhetoric. I get on this soapbox all the time. We're at the point now where you have black people saying that if you're a black woman, if you want to get married and have babies, you're a pygmy. You have black people telling black men if they want to date and court women and get to know women and be kind to women, they're a simp. We have a very disturbing mental illness permeating in our community that truly needs to be a case study. We're the type of people that will fight to the death to be in spaces that don't want us instead of building up our own spaces and communities. You have black people who will say they don't want to support black, right? They don't want to support black businesses. They don't trust black women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? But at the same time, and then when we come on this app and try to, I don't know how many black people in this room have been in black spaces where we try to come together to talk about the problems that plague our community while at the same time presenting solutions, and we have a million excuses about why the solutions will never work, right? So when I've heard some, not on this space, but I've heard the argument or the debate that, in 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, black people, black Americans, specifically foundational black Americans are still here, that the Asians and the Latinos will outnumber us. I believe it 100%. Look at where we are now. They say by 2030, the average income for the black family will be at zero. Nobody likes to talk about that. Nobody likes to even, and if you talk about it in the wrong space, we get mad, right? We can't even have honest discussions because everybody gets mad. Mike, I think it was Mike who said earlier, and Mike, if it wasn't you, forgive me, and I'll land here. Mike, I think it was Mike who said earlier, before Sid came in the room, he said the only reason why we're allowed to have these discussions, or that white voices, and I'm paraphrasing here, are allowed to have discussions like this, have these discussions with diverse voices, is if Sig was hosting the room. This is before Sig came in, because Sig allows for, diverse voices. If it was a black space hosting this room and white voices came up, they would immediately call the white person racist. Mike, I meant to say this at the time. if I was hosting a space and allowed diverse voices to come up to the space and speak, I would get pushed back too. I would be called a traitor, a race traitor, a coon. I got called a dirty cave bitch in this very room last week for defending a black gay man. So we're a race of people that hate each other. And I said what I said.
Well, thank you. Now let me jump in real quick, before I give you. I have to ask Albert. Albert, man, I love you like a fat kid loves cake, but what the hell are you wearing, dude?
Oh man, it was a picture my son took for Father's Day. Actually,
Happy Father's Day, my man.
No.
What'd you say, Jay?
Yeah.
I actually wanted. I was a friend. I consider Albert a friend, and I was busting his chops about what he's wearing in this picture. I had no idea what that is. But Albert, you want to chime in before I go to sleep?
Yeah. This is we have Black Americans, African Americans, whatever we choose to designate ourselves. We have a unique history here. It's called chattel slavery. That is quite different from continental Africans, even though we share the same ancestry. And it has put us in a precarious position. And one of the major reasons is because of the plantation. We've had to assimilate to a culture that oppressed us, and we've now internalized. And the way that we operate, and the way that we think, and the way that we feel lacks cultural integrity because of assimilation. And so we have a hard time coming to grips with our identity. It's evolved to this point where we have splinter groups that are pointed towards an attempt to identify who we are, such as ADOS, FBA. We always try to figure out a means of coalescing under one identification, but it's been very difficult because the effects of child slavery have caused disruption. I personally do not believe that there's self-hate. I believe that we've been disenfranchised and dispersed within this history that is just, we're desensitized to who we are culturally because we have a history of slavery.
See, and respectfully, sir, that's my thing about it. I get it. But I do wonder, will we ever evolve to the point where we don't blame slavery for everything? Here's the thing. I will always acknowledge our history, and I will never minimize that. But I find it so intriguing sometimes that, specifically on this app, if you're black and you spend an unhealthy amount of time on this app like I do, you are aware, hopefully, of the number of clubhouse rooms hosted by black people, and all they spew is black hatred. And then we come in spaces like this and claim it's not happening. Or we play dumb, and I'm not saying that's your case, Albert, that we don't know when I say these things and point these things out, it's not happening, we don't know what's happening, we pretend like it's not happening. I find it so and just, if it wasn't so sad and intriguing, I probably would be entertained, but I'm not, because that's part of the rhetoric. We will host spaces and spew anti-black rhetoric all day and blame each other for all our problems, and then come in spaces like this and say, that's not happening, what are you talking about? We'll blame Reaganomics, slavery, white oppression, Asian oppression, everything under the sun, but at the same time saying it's not happening. And right now, someone is giving me a side eye and thinking she's a bedwitch. That's how we do things, right? So I don't know. We gotta make our minds up here. Either the shit's happening or it's not happening.
And why? You can't take it.
Wait a second, gentlemen. I should address Albert, and I just will say this. In my opinion, Albert runs some of the best spaces on this app. Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. In what, I will never invalidate what you're saying. Clubhouse can be unhealthy, but I've taken my own personal extended effort. My spaces have been respectful, consistent. Anyone, JP has always come to my spaces, and I've always respected him as a man that he is. And I don't have the problems in my space. Clubhouse is not a reflection of people in the tangible world. Unfortunately, people in the tangible world come here and abuse the space. And that's unfortunate, but that's the way of the world. I go out of my way to delineate what is going on in the tangible world from what happens here. Here is a facsimile, and I can definitely empathize and relate to your experience on Clubhouse. But curators like myself have made a personal effort to make sure that if you come in a space like mine, it's going to be, I'm a humanist, and we're going to respect humanity in my space.
But Albert, let me ask you a question respectfully. I got you. Just let me example this one question. You've been on this app for a minute, as have I. You don't think this app is a microcosm of the real world?
In some aspects, yes. I think so. I think in some aspects, yes, but in others, no. No. In other areas, no. There's a bit of anonymity that gives a lot of leeway to the behavior. A lot of these actions and, disrespect and bad decorum, JD, you wouldn't be doing it outside. Some would be in jail, others would be fired at their jobs, other people would just not deal with you. I think that this is promoted throughout the app. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but this is human nature. So, but I wouldn't say it wasn't. It isn't a level of microcosm here. I would not deny that.
Thank you. Let me go to Ape. Okay?
Yeah. So, and why? You have to look at any population that you take and you enslave them for 400 plus years. You dehumanize them. You create an entire science around the notion of them being non-human. You codify in law that they're non-human. You create a religion around the idea of them being non-human that the dominant society practices. You put in the institutional systems that this particular population of people are non-human. Right, so in every facet of society, these people are classified as non-human for 400 plus years. And then after what? You give them 50 years or 60, let's say 55 years of somewhat of so-called full autonomy, and then not expect that there are going to be issues that don't arise out of that population. But even when you give them so-called autonomy, you still have systems in place that discriminates and that considers them to be still non-human. And the ideas of what you created in science still is pervasive today, like the John Hopkins study they showed when they deal with 425,000 healthcare professionals and doctors and nurses overwhelmingly said that Black people, these are doctors and nurses, nurse practitioners, people with bachelor's degrees in medicine, in terms of nursing, and doctors that said that Black people can withstand higher levels of pain, and that they don't give pain medicine to Black people because it's easier for Black people to become addicted, and they believe that most of the time when Black people come in or they complain about pain, it's because they want to get high. So I mean, this and to say, well, we're blaming it on slavery when we still see the effects society and all our forms of institutions that underpin this country still believing in racist tropes that go back to slavery, that actually predate the antebellum South. So yes, just like these institutions still hold on to race science that was created or ideas that were created 120, 150, 200 years ago, yes, we're still going to be railing from 400 years of slavery and really only 50 years of being considered fully human. 50 years. Out of 400 years, actually out of 500 years, 50 years that we've been considered as somewhat fully human, but actually socially we're not considered because these notions still underpin, these institutions still underpin our society, which pushes these tropes that we're non-human. And we see it in the public square. We literally can see Ben Shapiro having conversations with other intelligent white people, saying basically that Black people just have low IQs and that we're not capable of reaching past that reality, and we have to be accepting of that.
Hey, man, I love your energy. Legit, no stroke. But you gotta let some things breathe sometimes, bro.
Yeah,
You're
I have
dropping
a
gems and
question.
gems. Well, I was gonna just go to you real quick, Nye, and say, I'm downstairs in 5 minutes. You want to keep it open or close it?
We can close it, but I just, or that's up to Sid. So let me just ask a question to him. You know, I love sir, I love your voice. Everything you contributed to this room today has been spot on. And I will not argue against any of the points you just made because I agree. But I was highlighting like we as a people don't get along and love each other and trust each other collectively. So my question to you, based on everything you just said, are you suggesting, based on what you just said, all the truths that you just outlined, that these are the reasons why today in 2025, Black Americans collectively, I'm not talking about individual, what we're doing in our friend groups and our families and our churches, collectively, why we don't get along as a people and why we're constantly divided with black men this, black men that, except black women this, black women that, that's what I meant to say. These are the reasons, because of systems in place, why we still hold each other in so low regard. Is that what you're suggesting? Because that was the point that I was trying to make, why we can't get along in this day and age, right? And we blame everything for these reasons as if we don't have the mental fortitude to rise above all of this, right? We love Jesus and God and we're in the church. So why today in the 21st century, we're in the age of technology where they can plug a machine up to our brain and we can upload ourselves to the cloud, why we still cannot get along with each other? Are you suggesting because it's the systematic racism and Charlie Kirks of the world? This is just a question so I can get some click.
So, we have risen above it many times, but we're under constant attack by the state, by political parties, by nefarious entities in this country, organizations, think tanks that are always thinking of ways to undermine our progress, to attack our families, and to attack our communities. We're under constant barrage. There's always entities in this country plotting against us and figuring out how they can use the law and how they can use the state to undermine our families and to harm us. So we're in constant flux because of that, right? And we're the only group that this happens to. They bring people into this country to play buffer classes against us. The whole model minority trope that is used against us is based off of anti-blackness. Look it up, model minority. It denotes that Black Americans are lazy and don't want to work, and we have a victim mindset, and that's why we're not successful. But here, look at these Asians. They're successful because they don't have that. It is predicated on anti-blackness. And I will say, when you talk about technology, well, we can't do what you said yet. Can't do that. However, when you look at AI and the development of AI, it is well documented. It is well researched that AI itself, the programmers of AI, the developers of AI, developed biases against Black people within AI. Yes, other minority groups, but particularly Black people when it comes to AI. So yes, every fabric of society, and that's a fact, and no one can prove me wrong on that.
Well, we have the neural links. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, every system that exists and every system that is created in this country, including AI, will show you anti-blackness. Even AI, when you ask AI, is there anti-blackness within AI? You know what AI will tell you? Yes, there is implicit bias, and it will tell you because the people who developed me or developed AI had biases against Black people, but that because the technology brought other Black people in, there's an attempt to change that reality. Right, but AI admits that it's anti-black.
Chime in.
Go ahead, Albert.
Hold on, Albert, just give me a second.
Sorry.
Real quick. No, that's okay. Sid, you gonna keep it open because Nye and I are gonna be bailing in 5 minutes. What do you want to do, Sid?
Yeah, let's close it up in 5 minutes, man. I got some shit I gotta get into. Yeah.
Albert, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards things that are quantifiable and qualitative, and not too ambiguous or esoteric. And to answer your question, in why, we endured a Holocaust. There's one thing to understand the system of racism, but the institution of racism. And because the way that white supremacy works, and that's of course the catchphrase that describes white Anglo-Saxon Protestant racism, is a system that disperses and disenfranchises any person, any group of people that will oppose a hierarchy. And so when you understand that, and when you think about it, when you ask the direct question of why haven't we achieved what we've done to this point, is because of the literal environment.
Well, no, I'm really asking why we can't get along with each other. And if y'all are suggesting that we can't get along because the white man has said we're not human, so that's what I'm hearing. We don't like each other because the white man has told us we're not human, and so therefore we look at each other as not being human. So that's to put a cap on it. Is that where we are as a race? Because the white man has this power over us.
I'm not going to engage because I can't have proper dialogue. So,
well, I mean, because that's you guys keep bringing up like as if we don't understand the systems of racism, which we do. I'm asking in 2025, we are still blaming the systems of racism why we don't get along as a people. You're suggesting that the white man or the white supremacist system that has said we ain't shit and we're lazy and we're not human, that drives our mentality and how we view each other. So we don't get along because we view each other as being not human and lazy. No one is I'm not arguing against systematic racism, right? I understand that's our history. I'm posing why do we not get along with each other? Because the African woman who was on stage, she's still here, Faluke, she asked that. And I said that there's a lack of love in our community and a lack of respect. And we had two very eloquent, articulate, including yourself, Albert, intelligent speakers respond that it's because of systematic racism, that we don't hold each other in high regard. And I find that to be kind of puzzling.
Well, what I understand is when we're having these discussions, there's a thing called decorum, and when we have a fair exchange. And I explained it, but maybe you needed me to clarify it. But what I will not do is honor the lack of decorum. I don't do that, and this is the problem with Clubhouse. I don't do it. We all have input. It doesn't mean that we're going to be exactly right or not. We need each other. And I'm not going to do that. And anyone that comes in my space recognizes that right away. I deal with qualitative and quantitative information. I deal with data and facts. When it gets into philosophy and esotericism, that can slide anywhere. That can go anywhere. So I mean, I'm not minimizing what you're saying. I'm saying we should have some type of decorum talking about it. Because they exemplify exactly what you're talking about. Literally what you're talking about, this is being exemplified right now. Our willingness to be able to work together and develop a brain trust. We're not getting anything done.
Can I make a suggestion, please?
Hold on 1 second, man. Then I'm gonna hand the mic to Nia and Steve. You can talk. I'm a little confused. Where is the lack of decorum? Maybe I didn't hear it. Can you tell me where the lack of decorum is?
Yeah. She's asking a question. And Ms. Faluke, with all disrespect.
I'm not asking a question. I want to make some suggestions. And then you guys can look into it.
Faluke, you gotta hold on, man. The man was speaking. Oh, he left. Man, jeez.
He wasn't saying nothing. God bless him, but he wasn't saying nothing. It was right back. It's my entire point. Every time we bring this stuff up, it's the white man, it's slavery, it's Reaganomics, it's Rick. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out why in 2025 black people don't get along, and they start talking about, well, the white man said we were lazy and 3/5 human. Okay, so is that how we view each other? Is that the answer? Because we view each other as lazy and 3/5 human? I don't. So what do you Negroes be talking about? He left because he had nothing to say, respectfully, and I like Albert. But I'm trying to figure out, when do we evolve past blaming systems of racism on everything? No one is dismissing our history. No one is saying that these institutional racists, racism and systematic racism and white supremacy and global colonization does not exist and doesn't continue to impact black folks and people of color. My question was simple. Based can specifically not get along collectively and build up blackness. And every time we try to have this discussion, black people always go to slavery. Slavery is still the problem, okay? We still blame slavery on why we can't get along. And I'm puzzled by that. And I'm yet to have anybody just articulate why I know black people get triggered. Don't burn down my Starbucks when I say this. Black men shoot each other down in the street, black on black crime. So I'm guessing, if I ask, why don't black men love each other, right? I'm not talking about individually. Why don't black men love each other? Why is the black on black crime rate so high? I guess the answer is because the white man said we're lazy and not humans. Okay, guys, gotcha.
Well, Nye, I gotta go. You and Sig, you guys are gonna close in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Can I just make a suggestion, please? One thing is this that I think about all the time. We can always learn. We have learned some things in our lives, in our mind, we've been made to believe in some different things. But now, can we just have a forum where we can come together and then we can relearn, you unlearn some things you've learned in the past. Life is all about training. Whatever you become today, you'll be trained. Either you train in the school or you learn it on the internet or you learn it in the house. Now, can we unlearn certain things that are that's making us to grow, to the level where the black world need to be? And then we now learn new things to replace whatever is hard, in our lives. Because there's a lot of things going on, and I believe learning is a very great one. And then with this, we can pass it down the line. Yeah, because if nothing is done, this trend is going to continue and continue and continue forever, I'm telling you. And that bothers me a lot. Because we don't deserve to be who we are. Like, we do not deserve it. We have everything it takes to be the best everywhere we go, and we always excel. But we can do better. Unlearn and relearn. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to be short. Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead. You're welcome. You got it.
Hey, Sig. Hey, friends. Who was the one, maybe they left, who said, let's just focus on building up blackness? That's bullshit. If I were to say that and I'm white, I'd be kicked out of the room. Stop that shit. We're all blended.
Wait, you said, who said what? Building up black men?
Blackness.
Oh, okay, got it.
No, let's not focus on that. That's what got us in the shitter.
No, black people do need to heal, though. We do need healing. We need a superhero. They killed our brother from Wakanda, the cancer. So we can't count on him.
Nah, they already have a superhero. His name's Jesus. Most people don't.
Yeah, white Jesus still hasn't delivered
Jesus of the Levant.
White Jesus still hasn't delivered them from that spirit of feeling like each other's lazy and not human. Felipe, to your point, I think she said something about can we unlearn? As we have heard on this stage today, right? No, black people don't want to unlearn anything that will not allow them to use slavery as a crutch to blame why we don't get along with each other, okay? If we can't use our history of enslavement, if we can't use systemic racism as a crutch to lean on in all these conversations to justify why we don't get along, why our communities are falling apart, why we don't have adequate leaders, okay, then we don't want to hear it, as evident by the two speakers who were here and they're no longer here.
My point was, we all have been through a course of slavery. I'm white, Irish, potato slave background. We all have had slavery backgrounds. Time to move on, kids. We got kids who depend on it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. I don't think there's ever going to be any mending, because you're always going to have two groups of black people that don't have the victim mentality, and then the group of black people do, and it's like oil and water. It's never going to mix.
And you're starting to see more black people cross over to the aisle to say, yeah, you know what, this is kind of bullshit. More and more black people are starting to come out now and say, yeah, you know what, even like the older generation, like when I hang out with my great aunts and great uncles and, you know, my grandmother's brothers and sisters and all them old fogies, them boomers and shit, like they're even complaining. They're like, I can't stand this young generation niggas. You niggas are whiners, complainers. You don't take care of your shit. You let the neighborhood, like even the old black people are sick of this younger generation, right? So I don't think it's ever going to be blended. What I think it's going to take now is more conversations like this out in the open, for people to hear the other side and really come to terms with, you know what, yeah, that is kind of true, man. You know, it's funny how in 1837, you know, we were treated like animals and considered animals, but yet they let us found the first HBCU in 1837 during slavery. Seems to me if someone really thought you were an animal and treated you like an animal, they wouldn't let you found schools. They wouldn't let you establish higher learning educational facilities to educate more black people, specifically for black people.
Or be a Supreme Court justice or the president.
Yeah, a politician, lawyers, doctors. So, you know, I think people are starting to read, the information is starting to come out, more people are coming to terms with, hey, maybe the things we've been taught all these years aren't really that true. And yeah, you know, if our grandmothers and great grandfathers were able to make it through slavery and make it through Jim Crow and Reconstruction during the most racist points in this country, and they were able to build and thrive and build schools, HBCUs, the vast majority of HBCUs were founded before the Civil Rights era. How do you explain that? You would expect that after the Civil Rights Act, more HBCUs would have been founded by black people because now we have more opportunity. So like shit's just not adding up. The math ain't mathing. It ain't making sense. And then people are starting to understand too. Wait a minute. We're only pointing the finger at white people. Yet if you look at the entire logistical chain of chattel slavery, there were Africans involved. The entire Congolese Empire was built and became prominent off of enslaving other fucking Africans. And it wasn't this, you know, oh, it's not really a slave. You're just my buddy that's just working on my, you know, on my plantation for me. You know, and I'm gonna give him his free. No, like look up the Congolese Empire and the slavery they instilled. They were brutal to other Africans. They were slaughtering, murdering, raping, killing. Like they were fucking brutal to other Africans. So people are starting to realize it's not fair to only point at one group when if you look at the entire logistical chain of chattel slavery and black people, there were many other ethnicities involved in it. It wasn't just white people. And I think that's what it's going to take to kind of man. And then always we're going to have a leftover group of people that no matter how much facts and data and common sense you present, they're still going to feel the way that they feel and think the way that they think. And we just got to leave them by the wayside and focus on building America to be the best country and all working.
And I want to suggest as well, you know, I need the black community to really come up more than ever because I remember there was a time they were making advertisements in the what state was that? There was a college there that offered 100% scholarship for black men to come because there wasn't even, you know, the number of black medical doctors have dropped drastically, and everywhere you go, you know, it's just sad. So many things, so many opportunities that I see that the black communities are not even taking advantage of. When you go into the black school, I have been there, my daughter has gone through the place. You know, the kind of education and even the way the black, you know, it's just a lot going on. Like, I am telling you, one of the things we need to do when we say the one that are really programmed, I don't even care about racism. It's about, you know, bringing ourselves up to where we need to be. That's all that matters to me. The community allows you to be the best version of yourself. They provide everything that can bring you down to the lowest level of dehumanization, humanization. So all we've got to do is look at the positive side of life, look at everything that is positive in the community, and take advantage of it so that the coming generation, you know, can be a better. You know, we can have a lot of, you know, black men and female that are highly productive, that are taking, you know, their destiny in their hands to drive the world beyond limits. You know, that's all that matters to me. And that's why I said, if we can find some, you know, some great men, even in this community, where we are right now talking, we can form a community where we can have, you know, unlearn and relearn and reach out to other communities. You know, all these things, they all start like that.
do with church. I don't care about church. I'm a Christian. I go to church.
Hold on, let him make his point. Lady, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the point Nye made. Nye earlier, if you were listening, mentioned about the church and the black community. So that's what I'm talking about. So relax, calm down. So Nye, something too, and again, this is the problem that I have with black people. We're demanding respect, yet we're presenting ourselves as clowns. And I'll give an example. Glorilla, the rapper, just got the BET Gospel Award presented to her on stage the other day. The church has been a foundational pillar in the black community for fucking generations. Blacks have relied on the church to form families, to keep families intact, and it's something very serious in the black community. And yet, we can't even honor something so structurally sound that has kept our community, that kept our community for so many generations in a point of excellence, even though we're going through so much turmoil and strife. But when we show the world that a female rapper who raps about promiscuous sex, freely aborting black kids, killing other black people, selling drugs to other black people, poisoning their own fucking communities, and our community presents them with a gospel award to reflect the word and the mission of God and Jesus Christ, we can't expect anybody to look at us and take us seriously when that's who we're choosing to represent something as sacred as the church. Like, this is the shit we gotta start looking at, man. We are making ourselves look like clowns, and then we get upset when people treat us like fucking clowns. We're displaying our bullshit in front of the entire world, man. Like, we gotta check this shit. It's not fun.
It's the white man's fault, Sid. That's what they'll say. It's the white man's fault that we're even having this discussion. How dare we not praise Glorilla and give her the gospel award for pushing demonic energy with her lyrics in our community? Let me add to that. We also didn't get any pushback from the Black Collective when Megan Thee Stallion was twerking at the DNC. Notice that nobody blamed slavery and the white man for that. They said it was black girl magic. Then I asked why we can't get along, and suddenly it's because the white man said we're not human and we're lazy. Okay, guys. So yeah, to your point, I love my people. I do. I said in a room earlier last week, I love blackness. If I believe in reincarnation, I wouldn't want to come back anything but black. But we do have some clownish energy that kind of dominates the conversation when we're having discussions like this. And I'm gonna pray for us. I want us all to join hands, like a circle group, and pray that one day, maybe not this generation, maybe not the generation. Well, I'm Generation X, maybe not the millennials and Generation Z. Maybe one day the generation that hasn't been born yet will rise above the blaming slavery and the white man and white Jesus on all the problems. Okay, maybe I hope I'm alive when that day comes, when we can have these discussions and black people have some concrete, solutions to healing our community and not always resort to, well, the white man said we're lazy and we're monkeys and we're apes and slavery and, petting zoos. And that's why we hate each other, because that's exhausting. And that's no longer a valid excuse, in my opinion. And I'm done. So you can shut it down there.
All right, well, I want to give Folu, Joe B, and Suna, give you guys the last of the mic to speak. So if you guys want to give a closing statement, we can close it out after that. And thank you very much. I had nothing but respect and love for you. I appreciate being on with you.
Same to you.
Folu, Joe B, Suna, do you guys want to any closing remarks before we dip out here? Or if anybody else wants to come up and give a closing remark. All right, God, would you like to give a closing remark? We're going to shut the room down.
In the words of Dr. Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, don't be a dreamist. Go.
All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody in the audience for. Oh, go ahead, Suna. You got it.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I think a lot of people have like misconceptions and preconceived ideas of how the world is and stuff. I mean, even myself, I consider myself to be a troll, and an asshole sometimes. But I even have like preconceived ideas. I moved out to West Texas, and my wife's from a tribal group in the Philippines. I used to live in Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Philippines. I met her there, and we were moving out to West Texas, and I'm white, Jewish, Native American, and I thought, well, man, white people in West Texas are probably going to be like the antebellum Appalachia South, and it's going to be a bunch of racist crackers, and they're going to be like just berating us and giving a shit, and like they do in places like Atlanta and stuff where I grew up. And the reality is, you go up to most of the world, nobody cares. People are just like, oh yeah, you have some beautiful kids. Like most people around the world are just working their jobs, they're doing their things, they got their own troubles, their own issues, and most people don't care if you're white or black or they don't care. I mean, you have these small percentage of a-holes out there that make everybody look bad, but the reality is people are just living their lives.
Man, bro, I said the same thing, man. Like, these people who have these weird-ass fetishes and fantasies about white people going after them and going after black people. I'm like, man, all these white people I've been around and been to the beach with, had beer with, broken bread with, worked with, been in Iraq with, sleeping in the fucking sand with, being out in the woods, wiping our asses with leaves, all these white boys I've been on. White people ain't thinking about black people. I've said it a million times. White people are not waking up the first thing in the morning, kicking their legs over the side of the bed, rubbing their hands together and saying, how am I going to fuck over some niggas? They're just not, man. Most white people are struggling just as rough and as hard as black people. And they're in the same fucking boat trying to fucking work 2 or 3 jobs just to put gas in their fucking car, just to make it to work and put groceries on the table. Like the vast majority of us are rocking the same fucking struggle, man. And it's not conducive to anybody to be divided in this country, especially in this time when everything's so fucking expensive, wages aren't going up, healthcare fucking sucks. It's horrible out here, man. And it's horrible for every fucking body.
Really quickly to that point, it reminds me, I hate to keep beating the dead horse, but as a Gen X woman, I've been working since I'm age 14. I can't tell you the number of jobs. Most of my jobs have been in entertainment business. I've worked in entertainment business for 20 years. A great majority of my jobs, I've been like that token black, the only black in the office. And I never once felt unsafe. And I bring that up because I've heard these younger generations of blacks say, I don't feel safe around white people. I don't feel safe. And it reminds me, we're clearly all living on different timelines or various multiverses. Because I'm like, young brother, young sister, what's going on on your timeline? What are white folks doing on your timeline where you don't feel safe when you navigate spaces, white spaces? Because I've never felt this way, okay? Even when I was the only Negro in the office, I never felt this way. And let me tell you something. Shout out to the white boss who was always treating us to free lunch. If you are a white man in office right now, you the CEO, take your black employee out to lunch so they feel better about themselves today. Because right now they're probably trembling in their boots. They feel unsafe. Take them to a free lunch. Take them to Chipotle so they feel good.
Same thing, like this is why I explain to people. It's like it's funny how, when I was living in Detroit in the city, nothing but black people, 90% black people in my neighborhood, nothing. I live around these black people. My whole life I've been told white people are out to get you. White people are gonna try to kill you. They're racist. They're gonna try to keep you from working and getting a job and promotions and all this other shit. And they're gonna keep their boot on your neck. Yet when I live around black people who look exactly like me, house got broken into, cars got broken into, twice, tires fucking stolen, all kinds of degenerate shit. They literally built the empty plot of land between the houses. Used to be a trap house, but the city came and tore it down. They literally built 2 stages with stripper poles, and they have full nude strippers out in the open on this vacant plot of land for children to see, for women to see, for the elderly to see. So when you're surrounded by all these things, what's that?
Can you post that address?
And then it's like, okay, fine, white people are bad, but this is bad living. I want to live in something better, and it happens to be that I'm moving to a white neighborhood. Wait a minute, my house ain't getting broken into. My cars ain't getting stolen. I'm not getting fucking robbed at gunpoint. Nobody's lighting crosses on my fucking front lawn. It's exactly the opposite. The white people are knocking on my door. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Here's a zucchini bread we baked for you. Here's some popcorn, some gourmet popcorn we bought for you. Welcome to the neighborhood. When I move around in the black neighborhood, I don't have niggas coming up to my porch and welcoming me and my family to the fucking neighborhood. So, you know, it seems like, again, if we're gonna push this narrative that whites hate blacks and whites are out to get blacks, then I would expect better treatment from people that fucking look like me when I do live around them. But we don't see that. We see every time black people get a little bit of money, what's the first thing they do? They go and move right to the lion's den amongst the very white people that they say are out to get them. So shit just ain't math and shit just ain't fucking added up. I think it's a bullshit narrative. Othello shared those stats showing that only 2,900 cases of hate crimes black people report against them. So 2,900 people in 2023 said, hey, as a black person, I had a hate crime conducted against me. 2,900 people out of 40 million people, that's 0.00007%. I'd expect that if it was this big of a problem as they're making it out to be, I'd expect it to be higher than a third of a fucking percent. That's all.
Ciao, baby, bye. I say Big Keegan and Keith have come back, but we really were about to close the room up. But if either of you have any final thoughts, go ahead. Big, final thoughts. Keegan, Keith, final thoughts.
I always come in when it's time to close, no matter what room it is, right? Yeah, I mean, hey, we have to all go off our own experiences. Being raised in Portland, Oregon, in the suburbs, I'll be honest, like majority of Oregon is Caucasian. We have not had any collective problems. You know, I'm not going to pretend like oppression and racism doesn't exist. I just haven't experienced it. Like, of course, other comments. I'll be honest though, similar to what kind of like you were saying, Sig, is the people that have given me the most grief in my life have been people that look like me, people in my family, people in the community, and dare I say something similar to what you just said, it's the coon, it's the Uncle Tom, it's the bedwench, you know, it's rough in these streets, right? If you don't have the same story as everybody else, you're the other, but are you, right? So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you know, this is all lived experiences. And it's crazy for me to say I've lived with white people the majority of my life. Like, the majority of my life. And the only problems I've ever had were, like, I feel threatened. Like, of course, you got, like, crazy problems here and there, but when I feel like my life is threatened, like, I always use this example, but when I was playing basketball one time, I had my life threatened over basketball. I'm a white guy. I left the park. I was the only white guy at the park. Should have been playing basketball in Michigan. That's what I say. Sick, I know better. And but yeah, I you know, this is the actual problem. Is that the only time I've had my life threatened is from black people. I'm not saying all black people are terrible. I love black people. I really enjoy. I actually enjoy being with certain people that are black. But for some reason, it's like you get into trailer park, and trailer park people I've spent my whole life with. They are completely, I mean, I'm not from the trailer park, but I know a lot of trailer park people. They are like drug users, and they like to drink alcohol a lot, and they're gonna go shooting, and they like to go mudding, and like, you know, they're just rednecks, right? They're just like hick people. And they might fight here and there, but there's no murders. But then when you are around black people, it's like gang violence and gun use and like inappropriate gun use, like not for hunting or shooting, like they like just hold pistols out, and it's just crazy to me. So, you know, but that considered, you know, I'm racist for saying that. So I guess at the end of the day, I always say stereotypes are for safety, and you have to use those your own, you know, your own opinions to understand how to see the world.
Well, I always like to
Elon Musk, do you
give a shout out to the white folks, to the white man specifically, for giving us Breaking Bad, The X-Files, Led Zeppelin, The Doors, and of course Doctor Who. And
You and that Doctor Who girl.
You know, I love me some Doctor Who. Okay. And Leonard Skinner. Okay.
And Travis Barker.
Thank you to the white man who financed Jimi Hendrix. And shout out to Keanu Reeves if he happens to be in
Nine, did you see the ending of the last season?
I did, and I'm heartbroken. By the way,
Rose is coming back.
Is she though? I interviewed the
I hope so.
Ooh, it'll be interesting. Now, if they bring back Rose, they have to bring back David Tennant, at least in a guest appearance. Shout out to David Tennant, one of the mightiest white men on the planet.
Yes.
Doctor Who, right?
Oh, and his role he played in was it Iron Fist? No, Lex Steel. Remember when he was the guy that could tell you to do anything? He'd be like, "Go fuck yourself," and then he would literally go fuck yourself. That was his super.
Wait a minute, I don't know that one. Was that?
It was the Marvel show,
Oh, yeah.
Lex Steel.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jessica Jones.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's Jessica Jones. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, his character is pretty good.
All right, that's it, Sid. That's all I got. If we want to shut it down, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Be peaceful. Be on the lookout for me and Monica might be hosting a room. White Fear, Black Fatigue 2.0.
Oh, that should be good. That should be good.
What's the title, babe? One more time, what'd you say?
White Fear / Black Fatigue 2.0. I gotta get with Monica. She's still down, so that'll probably be going down this week. So get ready. Get ready. I'll be calling all types of bed witches and coons and maggots when we host that room.
Probably
Monica. Exciting.
Probably Monica.
I was gonna say too. Now you were sounding pretty coonish earlier. I just had to let you know that. So
I know.
I was about to pull your black card.
I gotta change my PTR to Dirty Cave Bitch. Black man called me a Dirty Cave Bitch last week because I defended the black gay man. So I gotta change my PTR.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And I was a bitch.
Yeah. And I was wondering to myself, I wonder if the cave that he claims I come from is that cave that they claims connects Latin America to Egypt. Boy, I hope I'm the queen of that cave. Now I just need to learn how to turn dirt and rocks into fire, and I'll really be winning as the cave, queen cave bitch.
All right, Nye, I'm gonna ask you something that's gonna piss off black people. I don't know if you're single or not, but if you were single, would you hook up with David Tennant?
Are you asking me, have I sucked white dick? Sure, it tastes like...
No, David Tennant specifically.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
What did it taste like?
My perverted mind went somewhere else. I have the mind of a deviant. Would I bang out David Tennant? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I heard he was a freak. Yes, let's get it.
What did it taste like, Nye? One more time? I missed that.
Like ice
White dick tastes like chocolate. White dick tastes like chocolate. To piss off all the black militants in the room. Sorry. Oh, I couldn't resist. I like to troll someone. They already hate me on this app, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, on that note, we're going to go ahead and shut down the room. Don't burn down my Starbucks because I said white dick tastes like chocolate. Leave me alone. Don't be in my back channels with the bullshit. I'm just going to block you. Y'all be peaceful. Go pray. Go pray to white people.
And feel they didn't waste the missile. So that increased the takedown rate to about 95+%, maybe 96, some number like that. But it's a layered air defense system. The primary weapons are the Arrow 3 for high altitude intercepts and David Sling for medium altitude intercepts. And they don't have the same accuracy or takedown rate because the theater ballistic missiles are traveling.
Before you go, I just want to add one thing. So, in relate to Gaza, the Judean-Samaria Act, Religious Zionism infiltrates U.S. law. The passing of the Recognizing Judean Samaria in Arkansas legitimized. So they already passed a law that's called Judean Samaria, the West Bank.
Why did you say Arkansas? Is that state law?
The passing of the Recognizing Judean Samaria Act in Arkansas legitimized the language of Israel's illegal occupation. So other U.S. agents rejected. Yep,
but if we got a state to recognize all of Israel as Palestine, that would be considered anti-Semitic. And people will be.
They just literally launched the new wave.
Jakob, real quick, they're using the word Iron Dome to mean everything now.
I know, that's the problem, is that people don't understand the differences, and it gets tossed around as a word.
Yes,
Yeah, like 2-3 days ago, in the Lonzo's room, Jacob was arguing that Iran doesn't have a ballistic missile. Can you elaborate a little bit? Does Iran have a ballistic missile? He doesn't even understand.
I don't think Jacob would say that.
Everybody said that Iran doesn't have a ballistic missile because it's going a certain way. He said that Iran doesn't have. Yeah.
I never said that.
Yeah, you Yes,
you did.
It's okay.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you have every right to deny that because it was such a BS that you can't even believe yourself.
I don't know, G, if he would have said that, because he would have looked foolish if he said something like that. Because Iran has proven.
Edward, why should you hold on to Edward? Edward and Amir, why should you from facts? Why should you from facts?
No.
Yes, yeah.
That Iran has not proven that has a ballistic. Ballistic is something that goes up in the sky. You were trying to explain what the ballistic between the cruise and the ballistic missile. I really thought that
okay, whatever you say.
That you're trying to explain the difference between a cruise missile and ballistic missile.
Oh, yes. I know exactly what you were referring to. Somebody said that Iran had a submarine-launched ballistic missile. They do not. I said they have submarine-launched cruise missiles. And I explained the difference between the two. So yes, Iran does not have submarine-launched ballistic missiles. There are a handful, less than 10 countries, that have such devices.
You don't have to change your study. That's fine.
No, that's exactly what I said. Now that you reminded me, Iran does not have theater ballistic missiles that can be fired vertically through launch tubes on a submarine. Doesn't exist.
Yakov, I have a question.
Yes.
I think the other day we were having a conversation, and I asked why Israel's version of the Pentagon is around residential area, and you said the United States Pentagon is also around.
I said it's in a suburb of Washington. It's in Arlington, Virginia.
Anyway, just took this picture live for everybody.
I just no, right, but I went to ChatGPT and I asked specifically, is the Pentagon around any hospitals, any homes, any residential area, or any schools? And it said no.
Go up to Google Maps and take a look.
Yeah, but ChatGPT said something different, and so
yeah, ChatGPT scrapes the web from different sources, and you have to really use lots of different sources. I would never only rely on ChatGPT.
Yakov, but the thing is that Israel Pentagon version of their Pentagon is literally right next to residential area.
I didn't defend that. I said nothing about where I would put it.
No, you said that most. When I said, well, that's impossible because I think something happened when 9/11 happened, and the Pentagon got hit. I said something about like there wasn't a lot of residential people who.
Yeah, it wasn't in a densely populated area. It wasn't like it was in New York. The Pentagon's not in New York City.
I know
residential
that.
Area.
That it's not around residential area. I was just making a comparison. You said, well, I just didn't understand why Israel has their version of the Pentagon literally near residential area. It's right there. There's buildings right next to it.
That's their decision. I didn't put it there. I didn't cite it.
Right. What I'm trying to say is that. Right, but what I'm trying to say is most places that have those military headquarters, right? They don't leave it around residential areas.
First of all, there's a lot of different headquarters in Israel. That's one of many. It's not the sole.
Yes, but that who got hit had the Mossad in it. Am I correct?
I'm not an expert in it. I think it may have some portion of it, but it's a distributed. They have distributed place. Like the head of the Navy is one place. Air Force is, I think, a different place.
Right, but the Pentagon is the Pentagon.
It's not like
it's shaped like the Pentagon.
I don't know. You've crossed my boundary of knowledge, and I stop talking when I don't know. So I'm gonna stop talking because I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. I only talk from things that I know about.
So I put the link in the chat for Judea Samaria, the Arkansas, and then there's other news that I want to share.
It just seems that Israel is hiding behind, like to put that. See, just to me, in my opinion, wouldn't that be a version of hiding behind human shields? Why would you put a military thing? If you're gonna get attacked, that would be like one of the first things to be attacked. around a residential area. That, you know, I don't know.
That's called Animal Directive, Wednesday. Thank you. That's what they do in Animal Directive, kill everybody that moves, even their own. To blow the shit out, they have to, they'll sacrifice their own people. But anyways, going back to the news, we got the France shuts Israeli weapons booths at Paris Air Show. So, they won't be able to present their weaponry at the air show. And that means there'll be less business for the Israeli weapons. Gazans fear marginalization as Iran-Israel war reshapes region. That's another one as well.
I heard they clocked 2 Mossad agents.
Yeah, they did.
Well, they're going to be put to death.
They're gonna strap them to the missiles.
Oh, they hang them from cranes.
They're gonna strap them to the missiles, I'm telling you.
Yeah, look at this too, guys. The Samson option. They listed the cities based on documents Iran Act. There's American cities on the list to be attacked. USA, Washington, D.C., New York, LA.
Why is it always New York City? Oh my god.
You should leave as soon as possible. I'm moving to Canada as well.
You're moving to Canada. Maybe I'll move to somewhere in the Midwest.
Almost. Netanyahu wants to sacrifice your soul, your poor old soul. You're old. I know you're old. Age soul.
You tell me, Amir. I don't know. I was at home. So I see. So it's a yofi. Everybody left you. No.
They didn't leave me. They're here. I think Asian shall be in here. Almost, why are you part of Hamas?
Not is the yofi, not AC, not no. I don't see them here. What?
AC will be here. Don't worry.
AC? She's not.
Look, we have Amos Wolf in the audience. He's a better Amos than you could ever be.
But I see another Amos, and I have seen another Amos. I have 3 Amos.
There's too many Amos on this app. But this particular Amos, I think this is Ner. I think he does a pretty good Amos.
No, I said it's Chucky.
Who's the real Amos?
Not Chucky.
Chucky is a piece of shit. He came in here and started attacking my religion.
Chucky. Not Chucky.
We have the real Amos. Go on, Amos.
Please stand up.
I'm talking about the real Amos. They got double Amos in the room. This is Ner. It's true.
Oh my
Amos,
goodness, there's 2 Amos.
He does a better accent than you could ever do, Amos. The real Amos is you're just a bootleg real Amos.
Here's the telephone. Amos never speaking the telephone.
Okay, because you don't have a telephone, you have your own other flip phone. Okay.
That's because nobody calls you Amos.
Sorry, Amos. The chicks were calling me. I need to respond.
No, my God.
Yes, I don't have telephone. Only I get telephone. I'm leaving the room. If I get telephone, I straight away leave the room. I don't stay here with the telephone and that everybody sees that I'm speaking in the telephone. I'm leaving immediately.
When he's really mad.
Lee, any new updates, brother? Any new stuff that you know that I don't know?
At least 2 rooms.
Yeah, the Samsung option. Check the chat.
Sure. Summarize it for us. What is it?
Iran hacked Israeli documents, and one of the documents showed the cities listed for Samsung option. So they have, Russian cities, Iranian cities, Egypt, Syria, but they also have the USA cities.
Why do they want to attack the US cities, man?
Why is see, look, this is why no money for you. No more.
It's not about the money. It's like when they feel scared. Amos, when they feel scared, they'll apply the Samson option, right, Amos?
A bunch of traitors. That's what they are.
What I see is what do you call it? Salmacha.
Amos, are you okay with the Samson option to sacrifice your own people, Amos? Amos, focus on here. Don't focus on the women. Come on, I know you're a fucking simp. Amos, forget about the women. Forget about the women. I want you to focus on me. Focus on me, okay? Focus. Stop being a fucking simp.
But you're so Indian boring. You're nothing.
It doesn't matter. I'm asking you a question.
What you asking? What?
I'm asking you, do you know the Samson option?
What is the option?
Do you know the Samson option? That's by Netanyahu. He has it in intact. If any time one of the nations they throw a nuclear bomb or something, they will self-destruct. They will start shooting fucking nuclear weapon towards America, Russia, Gaza, everywhere, Iran, everywhere, and kill everybody. That's called a Samson option.
Samson option.
Yes, that's it.
That's really stupid. The United States is really huge.
I don't know. Maybe you're speaking from your fantasy.
That's the documents. That's what they bring.
The Samson option.
It says in your book as well, the book that you don't believe, you're an atheist. It says in your book as well, they use the Samson option. They took it out of content.
Rubbish.
You're a big rubbish. You're trash.
All the lies and rubbish you're saying in the
You talk with no facts. You just bullshit. You think
bullshit. I sometimes I don't even come on the audience. I listen to all your lies and I think how much you can believe on everything. No. So what you say? Call it Samson.
Let's talk to Zelda. Zelda, come on up, Zelda. Zelda is here. Zelda, are you inside the bunker or outside the bunker? He's from Ethiopia, lives inside Israel. Come on up, Zelda. Let's have a conversation. This is not echo chip.
Sorry, I actually saw some videos of people inside the bunkers. I'm gonna let you guys know several videos of people inside the bunkers in Israel. I didn't see any people of color. That's all I want to say. I didn't see any brown people of color.
There was a video that kicked out tire workers that were trying to get into.
I didn't see any brown people of color. That's all I'm saying.
That video of the tire workers was fake. It's not fake. What are you talking about? I can send it to you right now. How's it fake?
No, but Sam, seriously, like their video, they're recording themselves inside the bunker so we can feel sorry for them. And all I saw was just pale faces. I don't see no Ethiopian Jews. I don't see any black Jews in there. Just pale faces. What happened to the Ethiopian Jews? What happened to the black Jews? Do they not have a right to be in the bunkers? Let my people go.
Because I'm in Shiraz right now. I'm outside. I'm driving. So there is an increase in military presence, but I'm telling you, the Iranian people are so brave that nobody's fearing this bullshit. Everybody's living their life normally, perfectly fine. Whatever you see on the news is propaganda. The Iranian people here are very happy and they're prideful in their actions.
I saw another video of senators from the West Bank, right? They're actually from Paris, but they try to escape the war, so they went back to Paris, and Paris was booing them. All the people from Paris was booing them. They were sticking up their middle finger, spitting at the people who were protesting against them. Well, if you're gonna just be a horrible person and think you could go to another country because you could get land for cheap and you can harass the Palestinians, and then you want to run away from a war and go back to your original country. Don't expect to be welcomed.
No, they came.
Exactly.
They came in the same plane as Rima Hassan.
Everybody hates Zionists.
Yeah. Yo, Sam, watch any of the two I sent either on Telegram or X. The title
Lee,
getting kicked out.
Lee, do you have any news or anybody else have any news on the massive amount of people who went to the border?
They're locked there. They can't.
The Israelis or
No, I know they can't get in. I 100% knew they couldn't get in. But what are they doing? How many thousands are out there? What's going on?
You talking about Israelis?
No, the people
No.
from Egypt.
Oh, the caravan?
Yeah, the caravan. So how many people are they? What's going on?
There was two groups. One that came from Tunisia. They got stopped in Libya because after the general in eastern Libya, they wouldn't let them go through. It was actually supported by Israel. So they gave up. But the ones that came by plane to Egypt, they're still there.
Yeah, they took so many like Canadian passports and stuff. So a lot of people are either detained or just staying in tents.
And guys, one thing, sorry to interrupt, but one thing, they're saying that Iranian officials are leaving the country. They're not. That's all bullshit. It's all fake. Everybody's still in Iran.
And then how many people are there, Salma? Do you know?
I can get you the information because there is a very active group like from Canada who like shares all the information and like advocate for the Canadian folks who are stuck there. I'm gonna look for it.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, there's a Canadian doctor. It's like Asian, Canadian, Chinese Canadian. He was in Gaza. He went there twice, and he coordinated with the group that went by plane. He's still there. I'll find you his Twitter account.
Okay, thanks.
Like, I'm gonna try the picture. They just launched another wave of missile. I'll send you a picture. I'll PTR. I'll PTR right now.
You're in the Telegram, JH? Join the Telegram.
No, I don't have it downloaded, so I don't think they're gonna let me download it under this, I don't think you could get it here, could you?
It's a video.
Okay,
I think you can. There's a lot of Iranian Telegram groups.
Yeah, there's a lot of Iranian Telegram groups.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'll try sending the PTR, right? I PTR'd the other one, I just deleted it quickly because you never know, like, if you're gonna be violating government stuff and whatnot, so I deleted it quick.
JH, you're in Iran now?
Yeah, I'm in Shiraz. It's not like the main city where everything's happening, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like Iranian though. Like I'm only like from my dad's side, I guess so, but I'm ethnically Afghan.
Oh, Bachem.
Yeah, but I'm ethnically Afghan. So my family lives here because my dad is from Iran. So I came here to do my surgery. But I was here for like 2 months, and then the whole thing happened.
Sam, did you see the videos? I'll put 2 links in the chat.
I just put the article for the Canadian perspective.
Yeah, I saw the videos. No, the thing is that I'm seeing so many videos on this entire thing. It's hard to tell which one's like real or fake or whatever. Like someone was posting like, oh, Israel went ahead and launched basically a gigantic blast against Iran, but it was like a thing that blew up in China back in 2014 like this one. I was told this was fake, but again, I have no idea anymore. It could be real. I don't know.
Yeah, there's even Israeli groups that are sharing it on Telegram, and they're laughing at it. they're laughing at the tire workers not being let in. Usually when videos are fake, they repost, like the one you're talking about, the port explosion in China, they repost it in, cities in Tehran or in Tel Aviv. But like videos like this where people, you can see like people's reactions like that, it's very hard to fake. It's like AI can do it, but you can tell like with the AI character.
Okay.
Hey, Zelda, what's up with you, Zelda? How's the situation? Can you hear me, Zelda?
Hello, Amir.
Hey, what's up? Zelda is here. I want to know how is it going?
Oh, there goes my brain cells.
No, we can just find out what's happening on the ground. Are you there, Zelda?
This hypnosis session. What happened in Minnesota? The pew-pew.
So I'm going to take back my earlier statement about the air defense system being a failure on the air defense systems end of things, but it looks like now it's actually they seem to be hacked because you have air defense missiles that take off and then hit the target that the missile is about to hit. And then you have sirens going off when there's nothing coming in, sirens not going off when there's missiles from Iran coming in. You have sirens going off in different areas while the missiles are landing in an area outside of where the sirens are going off. You have all kinds of things going on with the Israeli air defense system right now. I'm watching videos from this guy Mahmoud Oda. He's doing a live cast. He's been doing it for 3 days now.
I heard electronic intifada. They're pretty good, right?
Yeah, they're good. The only thing is, they come out once a week on Wednesdays, so, they're not good for live, but they're good for analyzing. Yeah, they're very good. Especially that, what's his name? And he's probably got the compilation of all the Hamas operation videos that came out, every single one. What's his name? John Elmer. He used to live in Gaza. He's Canadian. He may have a military background, I'm not sure, because he knows exactly what Hamas is doing, what they're, in the video, the weapons and why they chose that particular weapon and how they carried out the operation, everything. Electronic Intifada, it's like 2 hours every Wednesday. It's very, very good.
Wait a minute. So I said things about Black America, and y'all said what?
Zelda, are you back?
So let's keep this 100% above.
And Ali, what's his name? I forgot his last name. The host on there, he got arrested when he went to Germany last year to speak before he even did anything. He's Palestinian.
We can't hear you, Zelda.
They should have people like Zelda running the air defense systems in Israel. Make it a lot easier for Iran.
Zelda, are you in a bunker? Maybe the service is down.
Yes, Amir?
Yeah, he has served the idea. So, Edward, I think we can't hear you, Zelda. So I kind of feel like, you know, the first one they probably let Iran slide, but let's say if it ends up happening again, would they let them slide again, or would America jump in? Because I don't want America jumping in.
No, the target and what's his name?